This is where a selfie stick would be fantastic.
Yeah. Some of this.
They're here doing some sewer stuff.
Oh, I saw their sewer.
Oh, there's that. There's that. You see that guy?
Oh, that's not even the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. See that wire right there? Man, that is not cool.
That's not even the one I was thinking of. The one I was thinking of was that one up there.
Yeah.
That's a different one. Is that even an electric wire, or is that holding something?
This is hole number 357 in the fence.
Big gulp.
Big gulp right there. While the nearly invisible wires added a little drama to the flights, there were no accidents, and in happy reports, no drones, people, or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Molly Stark Sanatorium has had an interesting history. Quote, on August 23rd, 1929, Molly Stark Sanatorium opened its doors to the public, providing care to residents of Stark County suffering from tuberculosis. Named in honor of the wife of General John Stark, for whom Stark County is named, Molly Stark was built under the prevailing medical philosophy of the time that sunlight and fresh air were good for patients in need of compassionate care. Molly Stark stood as one of 25 tuberculosis hospitals in the state of Ohio. Designed by architect Albert Thayer of Newcastle, Pennsylvania, Molly Stark showcases Spanish Revival style of architecture popular throughout the United States between 1915 and 1930. The many windows, vaulted porticos, recessed balconies, and rooftop verandas provided the institution's tuberculosis patients with ample access to both fresh air and sunshine abundant in the rural farmlands of Nimishillen Township, just outside the city limits of Louisville. The entire landscape surrounding the original 5 buildings on site was designed to provide a therapeutic and restful environment for those undergoing treatment and recovery at Molly Stark. Even the original utility infrastructure was placed underground to preserve the pastoral country setting. The years following Molly Stark's opening were tumultuous years fraught with change. In 1938, the Works Progress Administration installed nearly 1,200 linear feet of tunnels at the sanatorium. While the tunnels were built initially for utility infrastructure on site, these tunnels provided an alternate means to travel between the various buildings on site that was undoubtedly appreciated by the staff on cold and rainy days. Later in 1952, substantial additions to both the east and west wings of the hospital expanded the facility's patient capacity. These additions, visible and identified today by their lack of architectural adornments, were designed by Charles Firestone. Canton residents may recognize the brick cladding on the building additions, as Charles Firestone was the same architect who designed the Canton Memorial Auditorium that these additions resemble. Beyond structural improvements, other changes affected Molly Stark beginning in 1956. As medical science had allowed for great advances in identifying and treating tuberculosis, the need for Molly Stark to operate solely as a tuberculosis facility diminished. In 1956, the name changed from Molly Stark Sanatorium to Molly Stark Hospital as the county-run hospital began the treatment of medical cases other than tuberculosis. Throughout the years, Molly Stark provided care to those in need of physical rehabilitative therapy, those with drug and alcohol abuse, and aging adults in need of care. The last of the remaining tuberculosis patients were transferred to the newly built J.T. Nist Nursing Home in 1970, which today is the adjoining Green Meadows facility. The hospital continued operating until 1995, when due to aging infrastructure and diminished need, the doors of Molly Stark were shuttered. The building sat abandoned, left alone, but not forgotten. April of 2009 brought a new life to the old Molly Stark property. Purchased from the Stark County Commissioners for the sum of $1, Stark Parks opened the new Molly Stark Park as a publicly accessible county park for the former hospital site. With walking paths, picnic tables, and grills, the park provides a nearby escape into nature and a visit with our past. The medical philosophies of 1920s that founded Molly Stark still apply today. Fresh air and sunlight are good for you, and they are abundant at Molly Stark Park for Stark County residents to enjoy. End quote. If you would like to read the history of Molly Stark Sanatorium, that excerpt can be found on Stark Park's website. Molly Stark Park is located in Stark County, Ohio, in a town called Louisville, which is spelled the same way as Louisville, Kentucky. According to Aloft, Molly Stark Park is not located in controlled or restricted airspace, so no special permissions were required to fly my drone at the time of this flight. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as I will continue to post videos like this and other drone-related videos in the future.